Good evening, everyone. This is Dutchess County Executive Mark Molinaro. We want to welcome you to our telephone town hall. Tonight we're having a telephone town hall forum with representatives from organizations including Dutchess County's Division of Veterans Services. Tonight's an opportunity for us to talk through certainly what we have been seeing on television screens and our news feeds, the tragic occurrences in Afghanistan, how that might relate to the experiences of veterans who served during Vietnam, and a conversation tonight among veterans who served in Afghanistan and other areas of the Middle East. We're joined by a number of folks I'll introduce in a moment. As we call you, you're being joined by thousands of Dutchess County residents, your neighbors. Please, if you have a question during this evening, press 0. When you press 0, you're going to be asked to record your question, and then when we get to you, we'll call you up to ask your question live. Again, this is County Executive Mark Molinaro. We're calling thousands of your neighbors across Dutchess County. We're going to have a conversation this evening with a number of Dutchess County veterans and individuals who provide services to veterans countywide. As we're calling, if you have a question, dial 0. Again, you'll be asked to record your question, but when we call you up, we'll say your name, where you're from, and you'll be able to ask that question live. And we have a number of folks here who want to have a conversation. So we're going to do that tonight, and as we welcome you, we're going to continue to make some calls across the county. And again, this is County Executive Mark Molinaro. Hold on just one moment, and we'll begin our telephone town hall. This is Dutchess County Executive Mark Molinaro. Thanks for joining our Veterans Town Hall this evening. This is a live telephone town hall. I'll introduce a number of our guests, or our guests this evening. We're calling your neighbors across Dutchess County as we speak. As soon as we've conducted the first round of calls, we'll get right into our town hall meeting. But thanks for joining us this evening. If you have a question, dial 0 on your phone. When you dial 0, you'll be asked to record your question, and once you do, when we can get to you, we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. We'll call you up live to ask your question. As we're calling your neighbors, I'm grateful to the organizations that are here represented. We've assembled a group of both veterans and representatives from a number of veteran service organizations, including Dutchess County's Division of Veteran Services. I also want to thank the folks who have organized tonight's telephone town hall. So we'll get started in just a moment. Again, if you have a question, dial 0, and we'll get the town hall going in just a minute. Good evening, everyone. This is Dutchess County Executive Mark Molinaro. Thank you for joining our Veterans Town Hall this evening. We are together in the town of Poughkeepsie with a panel of folks representing Dutchess County's Division of Veteran Services and other organizations that support veterans in and throughout our region. You're joining thousands of your neighbors across Dutchess County for an important conversation this evening. First and foremost, on behalf of Dutchess County, its residents, both past and present, we want to extend our appreciation and thanks to the men and women who have served and sacrificed in service on behalf of this country. We're grateful to each and every one of you. And tonight is a continuation of our mission, those who have served and those like me who have not served, a mission of providing assistance and support to veterans in and around our community. We know the images, we know the lives lost, we know even the decisions of political leaders have caused a great deal of concern, some cases outright tragedy in Afghanistan. That certainly has produced a number of feelings and concerns and questions among those who have served and among our neighbors who have not. In order to facilitate a conversation this evening, I'm joined by Adam Roach. Adam is the director of Dutchess County's Division of Veteran Services, a veteran in his own right. I'll have him speak in a moment. Also with us this evening, Deputy Director for the Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services is Julie Leslie. The Director of MHA's Dutchess Veterans Program, Anthony Kavoris, is with us as well, along with the Hero Program Manager, Alyssa Carrion, Vetcap Program Manager, Tyler Mendelson, the Vet Program Specialist, Joe Foreski. He has a nickname I'm not going to share with you this evening. We're going to be joined later tonight by the founder of Vet Zero, Tommy Zerhelen, and Dutchess County's Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Behavioral and Community Health, Jean Marie Niebuhr, is with us as well. We have in this county a number of services that are certainly available to veterans, but why don't we jump right in with the conversation. If you have a question, dial 0 on your phone. You'll be asked to record that question, and then when we get to you, we'll bring you up live. But to begin, Adam, this I know is important not only as Director of Veteran Services, but why don't you let folks know your own personal service, and you've said some things publicly that not every veteran would want to say about emotions, about the anger and heartbreak that I think you and many others have kind of felt because of this evacuation out of Afghanistan and questions about it. But Adam, why don't you jump right in?
Yes, this is Adam Roach. Like you said, Mark, it's heartbreaking. It's not just from the veterans around here; it's the ones that I served with. I served in Kabul at the embassy in 2003 and 2004. I was the sergeant of the guard. And what we're seeing is just, like I was saying, it's sick on a humanitarian level and everything. It's not right. And the way we did it is not right. And, the promises that we made to the Afghan civilians that pretty much risked their lives to be just a gate guard over at the embassy, to be an interpreter, things like that. We owe it to them to make sure that they get the rite of passage too and live that American dream that they love. They really do. I know some of the gate guards there. Every time the flag was flown, this one guy, we called him Tooth because he had one tooth, but he always stood there so proud, looking and saluting the flag, and I just
our flag,
yes. And it's just, those are the things that I think of right now and what's happening to them. And with the Taliban rule, it's almost like nothing happened in the last 20 years. They already changed the name to the United Emirates of Afghanistan. Things like that. It's not right, and we owe it to them, and we owe it to our servicemen and women that risk their lives being there to make this better.
So let me ask an obvious question. Why did men and women who volunteered to serve, why did they believe they were in Afghanistan? What was the reason for the mission in the minds of the men and women on the ground?
Are you talking about Americans? Or?
Yeah, Americans.
It's to better, you see what's happening with the Taliban rule. Women and children are getting dragged out, shot in the streets, beheaded, all types of things. A woman can't go in the streets without a man being present. Those are the type of things that we needed to fix and, try to just make them a better life for them. So.
And 20 years of sacrifice, we had approximately 3,500 men and women on the ground when we were in this last 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. At the end of this, towards the evacuation.
I want to say more. I want to say 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
And
the number went up.
Yeah.
So and it's and just recently the 13 warriors that we just lost, and it should have been better. The way we did this should have been better, and we owe it to the Afghans, and we owe it to our American veterans too.
Anthony, you want to jump in?
Sure. I was in the military security forces in the Air Force for 34 and a half years. So I see the ups and downs of the military. So we're going to get through this. We've gone through ups and downs before. I responded to 9/11 because we had one of our troops ran in there to help people out, and the building fell on him, so we went down there to look for him the next morning. And then got deployed to Afghanistan just before I retired. And I was like the oldest guy running around, so it was not easy. I wear a memorial bracelet with people that I lost in Afghanistan, so everything that's happening right now, I feel it with all the other vets. Like, you go through a lot of emotions. You go through anger, like, hey, was this all for nothing? Then you go through sadness because you see the things happening. Then you go through some proud moments when you see our soldiers holding those babies. You know, I mean, that's makes you feel crazy proud, you know. And I understand all the feelings that these veterans are feeling right now.
No.
If you want to call somebody and talk to them, we are available for that.
So who is we? Why don't you explain? See, I just broke my own rule. I talked right over you. Explain to the folks listening what is the MHA Vet to Vet program anyway?
So we have several programs. You announced some of them before. The HERO program, the VetTap. VetTap's a employment program. The HERO is a housing program. And the Vet to Vet, which is a veteran peer mentoring program. We also have just started equine program, and you know we have the Project Hope program also. So we have a lot of things going on. If we can't find the person that can help you, we can definitely refer you to the right people. So, but if you just want to talk to somebody, you know, it's not therapy, but it's very therapeutic. We have events that we do that are always free for veterans. We have a couple coming up. We'll put you on our list so you will know all the things that we got coming up. But we will also assign you your own peer mentor if you need it.
Do you want to offer folks where do they go to find out more information? Who wants to offer folks where they go to more information?
Yeah.
Who, Joe? Hold on one second. Let's go this way. Why don't you introduce yourself?
This is Joe Foreski, the program specialist for Vet to Vet. If you need to, you can call 845-473-2500, extension 1307, or you can visit the website at MHA-DutchessVeteransPrograms.com, or .org, I'm sorry.
You served?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about where in your service?
I served 4 years in the Marine Corps, and I was stationed in Camp Pendleton for a good chunk of that, about 3.5 years of it. And so I got out about 2 years ago now.
So based on your own experience, what do you, I mean, I don't want to say what do you feel, but what's your sense in seeing the imagery that you've seen these last couple of weeks? And I guess from your job, what are you hearing from other veterans?
Well, obviously, the general consensus is everybody's upset about what's going on over there. Personally, most of the guys that served that era were way ahead of me. Like most of my gunnery sergeants had been over there, stuff like that. So not a lot of guys I personally served with in my own rank were over there ever. They're all younger guys. But, you know, pretty much across the board, everybody's upset about it.
Yeah. If you have a question, you're on the call now. This is County Executive Mark Molinaro. You're joining a panel of both veterans and veterans who provide services to other veterans here in the county. We're certainly want to have an important conversation. If you have a question tonight, dial 0. If you dial 0 on your phone, you can. We'll ask you to record that question and then bring you live to ask it. So again, if you have a question, dial 0. You're joined by thousands of your Dutchess County neighbors this evening. Very important conversation tonight about the incidents and ongoing events in Afghanistan, and also services provided and other resources available to veterans throughout Dutchess County. Somebody else want to jump in? Tyler?
Yeah, my name is Tyler Mendelson. I did 6 years in the Marine Corps, and I deployed to Afghanistan in 2012. Went to the Helmand province over there, mainly based out of Camp Leatherneck. And for me, this has just been a mix of emotions the past couple of weeks. It's been extremely tough for myself, my friends, and all those we served with from our unit that deployed, and all the people that we know who went over there. And, for me, I just think about how my entire life was basically, it not just, once I was in the Marines and I deployed, but basically my entire life was gearing up to go on this deployment, because I was just about to turn 9 years old when 9/11 happened, And that was basically the day when I decided to go in the Marines, and I stuck with that my entire life. So I always grew up with this mindset of deploying to a war zone and fighting for my country, and Afghanistan being that country. And I needed to know that we were doing the right thing and trying to make a difference with defeating terrorism and trying to make the country a better place, so that America would be safer, but also that Afghanistan would be safer for those civilians who live there, and especially under the strict rule of the Taliban. And to just see all the things that happened so quickly and how quickly it deteriorated, it really hits hard to see how much of the work that we put in just felt like it fell within a matter of days and hours, essentially. And not only with the Afghan army, essentially retreating and just giving up, but, I mean, think about the thousands and thousands of pieces of material and weapons and vehicles that we left behind, essentially, for the Taliban to just pick up and take, and like they're conquering heroes, just defeating us. And we basically seemed like we retreated to the air base to evacuate, and it just feels like an utter defeat when we basically won all the battles over there. We did all the right things, and we defeated them on basically every level. Yet because of political action, we're essentially losing the war. And that, just knowing that, is what hurts the most for all the guys men and women who served over there to feel that, and the losses that we've had from, combat and IEDs and everything. It just feels like an utter waste. Like everyone thinks, what did we accomplish? So for me, I just try to think of the good things that we did in those 20 years. We held back terrorism. There hasn't been attacks on American soil like 9/11 since then. Think of all the changes that happened in Afghanistan since then. 34% of girls now in Afghanistan could read because of American intervention there. So I try to look at the positives of the things that we did achieve, and I'm hoping that the Afghan people will pick up their cause and know that there is more to fight for in the name of freedom.
So let me ask you out loud, and actually, Tyler, what I'd like to do is ask this question, but then if you could explain VetCap to folks listening. When you're on the ground there, do you have a sense, so those of us who don't serve, right, or didn't serve, except for when war comes to us, in 9/11, without question, certainly the darkest day in American history. We have veterans who experienced Pearl Harbor. It seemed even somewhat distant for ordinary Americans then. We don't have a sense that the battles that you're fighting are about our safety at home. Do you have that sense when you're on the ground? Do you really feel as if what you're doing in Afghanistan, what you were doing off to, in particular, because this is a war on terrorism. It's somewhat different, right? It's different than state organized warfare. This is state organized, perhaps state sponsored terrorism, but it's still it's a dirty, evil industry, terrorism. And so, do you have a sense that while you're securing Afghanistan, that somehow you can sense that that's protecting people at home?
For me, at least, yes. When I was over there, I felt like my greatest purpose was being achieved by doing the thing that I set out to do my entire life. And I felt like we were making an actual difference in what we were doing, not only defending America from further terrorist actions, but also helping Afghanistan rebuild and become something better than it was. And the people there, back home, we don't really think about the individual people, and to actually be there and see their faces and hear their voices and see how much joy they got from interacting with us, getting things from us like water and food and medical care, and to see the brightness on their faces, to know that so much that we take so much for granted that we just don't think about back home, and to know that we were actually making a difference every single day we were there for the better was how I felt purpose in that. And I think whether it was something that changed and affected us at home or abroad, it was for the better.
Thank you, Tyler. I'm going to ask you to talk about VetCap. As we do, remember, you're on a telephone town hall with thousands of your neighbors across Dutchess County. If you have a question, dial 0. I will ask you to record that question, and then we'll bring you live to ask it. Tyler, what is VetCap?
So VetCap stands for Veterans Employment Training and Transition Assistance Program. And essentially it is a federally funded grant that we've received from the Department of Labor where we can help homeless and at-risk veterans find employment. And with that, I also do help any kind of veteran that walks in our door who's looking for work. I will help you find a job. But the grant specifically focuses on homeless and at-risk veterans and also recently incarcerated veterans, with a special focus on women veterans as well. If any of those specific veterans walk in our doors, we try to really help them out, get back on their feet after the kind of changes they've been through. And we basically build them resumes from the ground up. We look for jobs for them. We apply for jobs. We reach out to different businesses in the community, and we try to help these veterans as best we can get back on the road to employment.
So it's a good time for me to remind folks, I'll do a little bit of Adam's administrative work and just tell folks that the Dutchess County Division of Veterans Services can be reached by visiting dutchessny.gov, dutchessny.gov. We're calling 845-486-2060. That's 845-486-2060. Why don't we go to Kevin? Kevin wants to volunteer with Veterans Organization and wants some contact information, but we'll let Kevin go right ahead. Kevin, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead. What's your question?
Well, my question is there any, obviously there must be a phone number or an email address that someone like myself can volunteer for any of the veteran programs that are out there?
Yes, there definitely is. This is Alyssa from the HERO program speaking. You can reach out to me at 845-473-2500, extension 1306, or you can email me at acarrion@mha-dutchess.org.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for that question. And for anyone who's listening, those are opportunities to volunteer. And, of course, we would encourage you to reach out to the Division of Veteran Services. Happy to connect you with those as well. We're going to jump to Peter. Peter had a question regarding the VA. Peter, if you are with us, come on up. Peter,
yes, I am.
Hey, go
Can
right
you
ahead.
hear me?
Well, I can hear you. What's your question?
On the 25th of August, the VA sent out an email which announced the availability of a new Federal Benefits 2021 booklet. Anybody that wants to deal with that, be advised that it is a booklet-sized document. So it's not 8.5 by 11, it's 5.5 by 8.5, and you got to print it that way. It's a 140-page document. On the other hand, the second part of their message was that they had a new welcome kit, and that deals with it sort of takes the booklet apart and gives you individual sections, but quite frankly, it's difficult to deal with on a computer. So if anybody can figure that out and get that information to Adam so that he could put that out, that would be most welcome.
We are happy to provide some assistance, and I do, and we understand. And again, by reaching out to dutchessny.gov or the Veteran Services Division, which is not the VA, right? The VA is a federal agency. Dutchess County's Division of Veteran Services will absolutely try to interpret and assist with digesting all of that new information.
Yes, Peter, just give my office a call. Again, that number is 845-486-2060. And for all the veterans out there and the family members, if you need help navigating that very diverse system of the VA, by all means, we have the counselors that know it by heart, and they can definitely help you out. So please do not hesitate to give us a call. Again, that's 845-486-2060. Thank you.
Again, this is County Executive Mark Molinaro. You're joining a telephone town hall with thousands of your neighbors across Dutchess County. We have assembled a group of veterans who also serve as support and resources for veterans here in Dutchess County. If you have a question tonight, dial 0 on your phone. We'll ask you to record that question and then bring you live to ask it. So dial 0 on your phone, and we'll get you in for a question. We're going to go to Bill. Bill has a question simply being about being a veteran. I assume he has served or does serve in the National Guard. Bill, if you are with us, go right ahead and ask your question. Bill, are you with us? This happens often. Bill is not with us. Bill, if you're still out there and you want to ask the question, dial 0 again. We'll get you back into the queue. There is so explain to people. I know my stepdad served during Vietnam. He then switched to National Guard and then didn't qualify for certain veteran services. What are those? What's that? I think that may have been one of the questions that Bill was trying to ask. Talk about the classifications and who qualifies for what. Do you want to do that? Well, no, you got to come right up to the phone and introduce yourself.
Julie Leslie, Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services. So, based on your dad's situation, he would have been eligible for benefits based on his Vietnam service if he served on full-time active duty and was honorably discharged. A lot of National Guard benefits, if you were not deployed or federally activated, then there's really not a lot of federal benefits. You may be eligible for education benefits and maybe the home loan program, but basically that's it.
Okay. So basically, again, for those who don't understand or don't know, without federal deployment, as a guards person, you only qualify for certain state-specific, right? Yeah, correct. Guardsmen, guardswomen. But nevertheless, and that may have been one of his questions. So thank you for that. If you would like to sit right here and join us, it'd be easier than having to walk across the room. We're going to go to Mr. McCarty. Mr. McCarty has a question about the number of veterans in Dutchess County. That's a fine question. We don't always know that number. We know the ones that have come through and are identified. Mr. McCarty, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead. Ask your question, which I may have already, but go ahead.
I'm a Korean veteran, and I'm in need of some financial help, and I was hoping that who would be able to help me, give me a number I could call and explain my situation.
So we're going to have you call the Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services. If you have a pen handy, I'm going to read that to you.
Yes, I do.
Okay, that phone number for Mr. McCarty or anyone else is 845-486-2060. Again, that's 845-486-2060. Are there anything specifically you know about Korean War vets that you could rattle off just this moment, or not so much?
Specific to Korea?
Yeah. Not so much.
Not so much. I mean, if he served on full-time active duty, and especially if he was, if he served in Korea, he may be eligible for a pension. Yeah. So, but it's income based. So. The best thing to do is call us and.
I had a tour over North Korea, B-29s, 6 months.
Okay, yeah. So
we were stationed in Japan.
We
got air medal for it.
Mr. McCarty, thank you for your service. First, we do believe you would qualify for certain benefits. And the office can be of some assistance to try to connect you to what the federal and state government allows. So, again, if you call that number, give us a call tomorrow after 9 a.m., and they'll be available to give you some assistance.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, and thank you again for your service. You're joining thousands of your neighbors across Dutchess County. This is County Executive Mark Molinaro. We've assembled a group of veterans who provide assistance to veterans throughout Dutchess County. If you have a question this evening, dial 0 on your phone. 0 will ask you to record your question, and then we'll call you up live to ask your question. We did establish, I know that Tommy's not here yet, but Tommy Zerhelen recognized, he was commander of this. Is it Legion Post? Where am I? VFW Post. I want to make sure I got it. Post 170, VFW Post 170 on Violet Avenue in the town of Poughkeepsie. Tommy Zerhelen was commander for a period of time, served as well, walked across America to highlight veterans' homelessness and suicide among the veterans community, and has been involved in raising a significant amount of money and resources. He's focused his attention on Vet Zero, and I know that he's been engaged real heavily in trying to provide transportation to veterans who need access to medical services and other resources. We did launch in Dutchess County in his name the Tommy Zerhelen Fund. This is a smaller amount of money. But it is that basic amount of support, some financial support to veterans who need, perhaps it's a month's rent, perhaps it's a new suit to go off and interview for a job. It could be some modest assistance with a car or vehicle just so you have transportation. So that is one of the resources on top of those other federal, state, and other resources that we have available here in the county. We're going to go to Pat. Pat had a question regarding a veteran who needs access to a wheelchair. Pat, if you're with us, go right ahead and ask that question.
Yes, I am. I drive for Friends of Seniors, and I had a veteran today who can barely take 2 steps, and he needs a wheelchair. Can you tell me where I could help him find one?
So this is Joe Foreski, the vet-to-vet program specialist. If you call 845-473-2500 with the extension 1307, that's mine, so I can definitely deliver a wheelchair to whoever the veteran is, wherever he needs it.
Why don't you repeat that slowly one more time?
If you're ready to take down the number, I can read that off to you one more time.
Go ahead.
Good. It's 845-473-2500, extension 1307.
And your name, sir?
Joseph.
Okay, Joseph.
Yep.
One other question. How do I help him get Meals on Wheels?
Meals on Wheels?
If he's presumably senior citizen, that's us. That's the Office for the Aging, and I'll give you that phone number as well. That phone number is 845-486-2555. 845-486-2555. But Pat, what I'm going to recommend to you is just to make sure that this particular veteran gets all the help they need. After you're done calling Joe for the wheelchair, if you would call the Division of Veterans Services, they'll be able to make the connection to those other departments and see what other support may be available to him. And that number again, if you're still writing numbers down, is 845-486-2060. 845-486-2060. If you have a question for us this evening, dial 0. We'll get you to record that question, and then we'll bring you live to ask it. Alyssa, why don't you tell us about your service and maybe anything that you wanted to share based on these last several days?
Sure. So I manage the HERO program at MHA Dutchess, and we help house homeless veterans, to be very plain about it. But if you are a homeless veteran or a veteran at risk of becoming homeless due to rental arrears or other reasons, give us a call. There's definitely something we can do to help.
And you served as well?
I did.
And where did you serve?
I am an Army veteran. I graduated West Point in 2004 and served at Fort Lewis, Washington from 2004 to 2012 with a short trip to Egypt in the middle.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I wanted to drag that out of you.
I know. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. We're going to go to Carl. Carl had a question or a comment. I always worry a little bit about that, but Carl, feel free offer your comment if you're with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, Carl.
I'm the Director of Veteran Services from Putnam County, Carl Rohde, and I just want to thank you guys for doing this. It's great that Dutchess did it. And I also want to emphasize, and I know Adam will agree with me, between Dutchess County, Orange, and Putnam County, the three of us cooperate with each other and help each other out, and that's really a big plus to help our veterans. That it's if Adam doesn't need some help, we'll provide it. If we need some help, Adam provides it. And thank you, Dutchess County, for all you do for veterans. Really appreciate it. And that's all I wanted to say. Just compliment you on this program and what you do for my fellow veterans.
Carl, thank you, and thank you to all of you in Putnam County as well. I think Adam, Carl is right in this. I mean, obviously we're always willing to take a compliment, but the relationship between the three counties, and even with Ulster, so Ulster, Orange, Dutchess, Putnam, do a lot of work together. Do any of you want to talk a little bit about that? The goal here is not to have any veteran fall behind. So regardless of where you live, we all kind of cover for each other. Somebody want to jump in on that? Anthony? Or Adam doesn't always jump in first, so I'm going to let Adam speak.
No, Mark, I think, what Carl was saying, just last week we had our fair, and Alyssa and I were talking about how many veterans that came up to us that were from Ulster, that were from Putnam, from Orange, and just the information that we had, we can provide them right away with the phone numbers and the direct contact on who to speak to in their county. And like you said, we never want anybody to fall in between the cracks. So that's something that we do pride ourselves in. As far as veteran services, we don't, try to take, from other services and, we're better than this one and that one. We all work together, and it's all about the veteran and making their lives better. So, Anthony, you want to back on that?
I was just going to say that we've all referred veterans to each other. If they're closer to Carl's place, we will just, call him up and say, hey, we got a veteran that actually lives in your neck of the woods, and he'll take it from there. We do that with all the counties, basically. Yeah. And they do it for us. And oftentimes we've worked on a client together because they're going from one county to the other, so we help facilitate that.
And so we were talking a little bit about some of the services, and of course a number of very formal services. We talked a little bit about the Tommy Zerhelen Fund in Dutchess. That's a little bit of a less formal service. You wanted to mention the food pantry as well?
Yeah, we have a small food pantry. We do a couple of food drives, actually about 3 or 4 food drives a year, maybe more. And it's enough to give us food to give out to veterans as needed. And we've given out a lot of food in the past year and a half. Since COVID, really, it was a really big deal to get as much food as possible and give it out to the veterans.
And you're still seeing we certainly know this among all residents, but even among the veterans community, access to food is still a big challenge.
It is, and mostly because of transportation. Also, it's not just a money issue, but it's transportation and money. Yeah. So, but we do what we can. Sometimes we'll deliver it right to them. So. Okay.
So, can I ask? You're all providing services to veterans. Have over the course of the last 10 days now. I want to make sure that I get the number of days right. Basically, a week and a half. Have you had an increase in outreach from veterans? Do you feel? Are there folks that are reaching out to you? And can I ask, do you get calls from, like we've had a number of questions from neighbors or family members? They're not the vet themselves, but they're calling for someone else. Have you seen an increase in that over the last week and a half?
Well, we've always had a lot of calls from family members asking that we help one of their family members who's a veteran. So that is stayed about the same because we've always had plenty of those calls. We have had an uptick in calls. Actually, since when everybody pulled out of Bagram, we started getting some calls. People thought, wow, that was really kind of never did it that way. What do you guys think about it, And then when Kabul fell, it was...
I'm going to interrupt you because I'm a little bit, again, I never assume that I understand what it's like to serve on the ground. But, the rest of us watch and think, why did we leave that airport and sort of find our way only to Kabul? So when they ask that question, what's your answer?
Well, there probably actually was some reasons.
Do you know them?
I have no idea.
Well, okay, so
there has to be a strategic reason
I will
for
tell
it.
you,
But
I could tell you a couple of reasons. I wouldn't have done it because I thought it was a bad idea immediately. But the reason they probably did it was because Bagram was further south, and it would have been a little harder for some of the people in the north to reach Bagram to use that airport. The reason that they probably didn't send a whole bunch of people to cover the entire city of Kabul is because it would have taken 75,000 troops or more.
Yeah.
I mean, it took like 6,000 just to cover the airport, so just the inside of the airport, so you can imagine if they try to cover the entire airport.
So for those listening not familiar too much with Afghanistan, Bagram, that airport is somewhat more isolated, and as we have been told, easier to secure because of it's not surrounded by a city. Now it's Hamid Karzai Airport at Kabul is much closer to people, both the people we wanted to get out and the people we don't want to get to the airport. And that's a fair description?
It is. However, that said, there was eyes in the sky.
Yeah.
We had a lot of really good intel weapons there. I mean, we really could have kept that base with a really minimal amount of people. So strategically, it didn't make sense to get rid of it, and you could have had 2 extra airstrips. So you could have done both, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have taken that much to do both. So that's why it was probably not a really good idea, and they had some reasons, but I think they just didn't think everything through.
So you're on a call. This is County Executive Mark Molinaro. This is a telephone town hall. We've been talking with thousands of your neighbors. We've assembled a group of veterans who provide support to veterans in and around Dutchess County. If you have a question tonight, dial 0. We'll ask you to record that question. We're going to go for a few more minutes. I do want to give everybody a chance to kind of offer their observations before we conclude tonight's call. But if you have a question, dial 0. If Chris is ready, we're going to go to David. David served in the U.S. Navy, perhaps? David has a question he wanted to ask. David, are you with us to ask that question?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead.
I've been going to Castle Point. That's my main place. And then we lost our orthopedic surgeon there. He just dropped out one day. He was gone. So they put community care in. I've been waiting 4 months to get an outside appointment. And, in fact, we've even gone to the director of Castle Point, and we're nowhere. So I finally got an appointment up in Albany, which is a 2.5-hour drive, which is fine, but there's no reason, if this program was set up to work, it's not working.
It certainly sounds like it's not working. Does anybody want to offer? I'm being told that that particular physician retired.
yes, Dr. Siegel retired, which was a huge loss for everybody who has interacted with Dr. Siegel. He's a great doctor there.
Right, yeah, he was.
And no, community care does not always work smoothly. We've definitely run into that multiple times with veterans before having problems with community care.
If a veteran has a question regarding, they're just coming up against the wall when it comes to dealing with the VA, who do they go to? I know they call us. Is that what we don't? I mean, that's generally what occurs, and folks can call us, and we try to unstick these situations with the federal government.
A lot of times, sometimes it depends on what the issue is. I mean, we all have like certain point of contact at Castle Point at the VA that we can call and say, hey, who do I need to talk to about this? I have this veteran that's having this issue or that issue. But, you know, ultimately it's what the proper procedure is from what we're told is that if a veteran is having an issue, and again, it depends on what the issue is, if it's something that they need to speak with the patient advocate about, if it's a doctor-related issue, if they need to start with a social worker in their group and, you know, go up from there. So it all depends on what the issue is.
Okay. Thank you. Julie, Adam, go ahead.
Yes, sir. How are you? This is Adam Roach. I'm on the board for the Hudson Valley Healthcare VA for the Veteran Advisory Board. And next time we do have a meeting, I will bring this up for you, sir.
We appreciate the call. Julie, you served as well.
I did.
Where and when did you serve?
I served 6 years in the U.S. Army. I was stationed in Germany for a little bit, but everything else was stateside. So I was never deployed to, war.
Still important, and we're thankful for that as well. If you have a question, dial 0 on your phone. We're going to Jan. Jan is the first vice commander of the American Legion Post 1949. That may be Red Hook. I don't recall. Jan?
Yes. Can you hear me, Mark?
I can. Where are you? Which post are you? I forget.
I'm in Wingdale, post 1949. I want to thank you for our meeting the other night in Dover, and I obviously you heard my message. And also I have been waiting in orthopedic at Castle Point, and I just got an appointment for September 14th outside. Actually, it's over in Montrose.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I know we're just learning that there's a delay in that particular service. So we appreciate your service, and thanks, councilman in the town of Dover, and you all were very, very helpful over the course of the last 20 months. Thank you very much for that. We're going to jump to Anthony. Anthony has a question. Not Anthony up at the table. Anthony has a question regarding Blue Water Sailors benefits regarding Agent Orange. Anthony, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead and ask your question.
I was just wondering if I'm applying for some increase in benefits for Blue Water Sailors for Agent Orange, and I have some problems with my heart and neuropathy, which they have no idea how I got this neuropathy, and I was just wondering if there was any success in the applications for sailors who put in for Agent Orange for Blue Water Sailors.
She wants an increase, so just have a call.
So, Anthony, this is Julie from the Division of Veteran Services. So yes, they just passed the Blue Water, veterans law. So you can actually submit for a claim for compensation to the VA, even if you're a Blue Water Navy veteran. So what you need to do is just contact our office, and we'll be able to help you to submit that, whether it's an original claim or for an increase.
And the phone number for the Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services is 845-486-2060. That's 845-486-2060. We're going to go to Ray. Ray in the town of Clinton. Apparently has a question from 30 years ago. Knowing Ray, he's been on the line that long. Ray, go ahead.
Okay. The question I had was, about 30 years ago, was in the Army in Germany during the Cold War for like 4 years. But the question I had was, when I came back, I went to the office that Adam has right now and brought my DD form, the discharge papers. They made copies of it, and they asked me to fill out a questionnaire and you could find out all the medals and various things that happened to you. And I don't know if that service is still available, but I think it should be more advertised so that people, if they call the office where Adams is at, that they can immediately look at your file and proactively help you without having to drive in to see them and talk to them face-to-face in the office. So I just wanted to recall whether or not that still works, and should it be published more?
Well, Adam will respond to that. Go ahead, Adam.
Ray, is your question about your DD-214, if we have it on file?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wants to be sure that as folks come back right from service, I think, as I understood it, do we still do sort of the full record check to see did you not only qualify for the benefits, but I think are you getting the appropriate acknowledgments, recognitions, medals, etc.
Oh yeah,
we do that with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could do that. We do that's all that stuff's on your DD form 214. When you get out of service, please come in and check with us, and we'll put you on file for us. And if you do not have your DD 214, we fill out a form. It's called an SF-180 form, and we send that to the VA, and we'll get the request. We'll get that to you. Right now, it's a back order with the pandemic, so it is taking a good 8 to 9 months, even longer. But Ray, those services we do still provide, and anybody out there, please, give us a call.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for the question, and we appreciate that as well. And to the point, if you call, they'll try to provide you whatever assistance they can without making you come into the office. But for certain instances, we certainly like to get you into to provide some direct assistance. We're going to push up against the hour we had advertised, but we'll go a little bit longer with you. Let's go to Terry. Terry had a question regarding, it's a good question. Where do you go for all of the information? Terry, go right ahead.
I came in late to the conversation, so that's what I was wondering. I didn't want anybody to list them all off, but if there was a general area that you could point me to. I'm a female, and I was active in 81.
Where did you serve?
I had my first in Fort Ord, and then I went over to Germany for the rest of the time.
Thank you for that. So we'll repeat the County Division of Veterans Services phone number. That is a single point of contact, and everyone at this table and the other services you coordinate with can be contacted through reaching out to that number to begin with. That is 845-486-2060. Again, that's 845-486-2060. Also visit dutchessny.gov. If you're online, you can go to Dutchess, DUTCHESSNY.gov. And we thank you for that question as well. And we'll try to get one or two more in if we can. If you have a question, dial 0 on the phone. We'll get one or two more questions in. As we wait, Joe, I let you off easy early on. Why don't you talk a little bit about your service as well? I got a joke, and I shouldn't. I mean this sincerely. I don't know many veterans who want to just say, "Hey, listen, I served, and this is what I experienced." But tonight is an opportunity for us to kind of let folks on the phone know it's okay to talk through your experience and how your experience might inform others, and what you see on television and what you're reading online, whether it's accurate, inaccurate, one-sided or no-sided, could stir up a series of emotions, and just talking out loud sometimes is a good idea. Joe, who doesn't talk out loud all that often, go ahead.
All right, so like I said, I served 4 years in the Marine Corps. Most of it was stationed in Camp Pendleton, which, being a huge base, I got the opportunity to meet a lot of different people that served in a lot of different areas. So most of my experience was actually getting to listen to a lot of their stories and the different times they had served in different places. So it's really cool to actually be able to talk to that many people. And now doing this as well, you talk to a lot of veterans, obviously, that all have different stories, and it's great to hear. So.
Thank you, Joe. I hope you don't mind I dragged it out again. Listen, all of you your experiences are really important, and frankly, you might be talking to somebody you connect with. You know better than I do. You might connect with somebody that they heard that thing, and that's why they picked up the phone. I do want to acknowledge that in Dutchess County, we also, of course, have other services. If you're out there and you don't know necessarily how to reach out to somebody who might be dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, some other mental wellness concerns, the county's helpline is available to anybody, anytime. I will tell people that I use it from time to time. I will text on behalf of a friend or somebody I may have met and say, I don't know what service we should send them to. The Dutchess County helpline receives phone calls and texts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are those with mental health background, and it can be that you're calling because you feel that you want to talk to somebody with that background, but it could just be that you're calling or texting because you don't know who else to ask. And we get everything. We do. We respond to many, many phone calls and texts. If you have your pens out, that phone number is 845-485-9700. That's 845-485-9700. And no, I don't have any of that in front of me. And there is an app, the Dutchess Helpline app. If you download that at your app store, on your smartphone. You can interact with us that way. And I mean that sincerely. We do that quite often. We get calls from everyone and everything, everyone and about everything, and feel free to do that. I do want to we'll go to Mark. Mark is from Poughkeepsie and had a question regarding housing. Mark, are you with us?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, first off, I want to say hi to Adam. Adam, I used to volunteer for you.
Mark. Personal. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good. Okay, anyway, I just want to say hi, but I was curious about housing in Dutchess County. I'm thinking about relocating, but somewhere in Dutchess County. And what's out there for us older folks?
Well, what I will offer to you is the county does have a central location. If you visit dutchessny.gov, and that's Ann Saylor, right? I don't know if we have that phone number. If I have that number, there is a single point for what housing opportunities are available. I will be clear with you. We know that housing, in particular for moderate and lower income individuals and families, is still very, very challenging. It is throughout the Hudson Valley. It is a problem that we have been actively confronting with more housing units being built. But the truth is that is a real challenge. But if you visit dutchessny.gov, you may be able, if you visit the Department of Planning at dutchessny.gov, there's an opportunity. Thank you. 845-486-3600. 845-486-3600. That is the phone number for the Department of Planning. We have the Deputy Commissioner for Housing, and that division can be of assistance as well. So, Mark, thank you for that question.
Yeah, could you please repeat the number one more time? I just wasn't fast enough with my pen.
No, that's okay. It's 845-486-3600. 845-486-3600. We're going to go to Patricia. Patricia wants to share some information as well. Patricia, go right ahead.
Yes, hi, my name is Pat, and can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I would like to share with the veterans of Dutchess County that in Dutchess County, our heroes are never forgotten, and I would like to let you know that Arlington School has a wall of remembrance, and once a year they have a beautiful ceremony for all the veterans. Their orchestra plays all the music of all the different militaries, and it's just a great thing, and I wish more veterans would attend to it.
Pat, thank you for that. And you're right. There are, certainly every community in Dutchess tries. Schools, others try to pay appropriate respects, and we do encourage residents, whether you served or not, to take part in those activities. The Division of Veteran Services, of course, helps host a number of community events as well, including, but not limited to, our acknowledgement on Memorial Day for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, Veterans Day for those who have returned home. And the organizations represented here do a great deal of outreach. We're going to we'll do some quickly. Let's go to Michael, who wanted to comment about Dr. S at Castle Point. I hope it's, I get nervous. Michael, go right ahead.
Did you say Michael Burke? I didn't catch that.
Michael, I don't have your last name, but if you wanted to talk about Dr. S, go right ahead.
I don't want to talk about doctor. I want to talk about the veterans.
Go right ahead.
I'm a past state commander for the Department of New York. I was a commander for 2017-2018. I want to talk on a couple of issues. We have claim officers who do claims. You don't have to come into the office, because I heard a veteran say he couldn't come into the office. They do it by computer. All you have to do is call them. I'm going to give you my number, and you can give me a call, and I'll refer you. 845-702-7532. In terms of the Navy Blue Water veterans, the VFW was very instrumental in you getting your claims. I believe it was 2019. They put it off to 2020. If you have a problem, call me in that number, and I will refer you, because we have a lot of veterans calling our claim officers because they're having problems. It's like I said, our claim officers, they go to school every year and they have to pass a test. We have legislative committees. We are in Washington, D.C. every March. We missed it last year due to COVID. Now, I heard a veteran talk about housing. For veterans, they have housing in Poughkeepsie. Okay, I believe it's on Hudson Street. Again, for you veterans who want to call me, because I have a wealth of information for you, it's 845-702-7582. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. Always happy to have other people take phone calls for us, but we encourage that as well. Thank you for your service and your help. And, of course, the folks at the Division of Veteran Services, not only do we welcome support, but we also provide it as well, and our folks are ready to be of assistance as well. We're going to go to Peter. Peter, I think, had a question regarding an ID card, but, Peter, go right ahead.
Yes, it's Peter from Holmes, New York. I just want to know how to go about getting an updated identification card for my service from 1960 to 64 U.S. Navy.
Thank you for your service. Adam, go right ahead.
Yes, Peter, how are you? This is Adam Roach. The best number to call on that is the VA, and that number is 845-831-2000. And when you talk to the operator, you want to speak to eligibility, and they'll take care of it from there for the VA ID card.
Repeat that one more time.
And that number is 845-831-2000, and ask for eligibility.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you for that question. We hope, as we wrap up this evening, you found tonight's conversation to be helpful. I think this is something we should likely repeat so that folks know, again, what services are available. If you're listening and you'd like to know more about what services are available in Dutchess County, you can visit dutchessny.gov on the county's website, dutchessny.gov, the Division of Veteran Services. And their phone number is 845-486-2060, 845-486-2060. We came together tonight because of, obviously, both the decisions made by leaders, the loss of life, the loss of now over a dozen servicemen, troops, Marines, most. Marines and sailors, and one Army, and really a reaction to it as a country. The truth is, we all have questions. Why are certain decisions made? How might they be better? What lessons will we learn? I said this the other night, and I'll say it again. No matter what decisions our leaders might make, the American soldier, the American sailor, the American Marine never fails. They don't. They are the bravest, most charitable, most just the world has ever known, and they deserve our support, period. End of sentence. And as we experience and see the imagery, we know that there are veterans in our community that may have served in Vietnam, and some of those emotions and feelings get churned up again. It was a challenging time for us as a country. And of course, here in 2021, men and women who served in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in and around this war against terror, really questioning and have a whole range of emotions, and it's important to talk them through, whether it's just simply to validate them or to connect folks with services. Anthony, I'm going to go with you if you want, maybe a few closing thoughts from around the table, and encourage folks to really talk through what they're feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's worthwhile. If this is really bothering you, you just need someone to talk to, please reach out to us. I encourage it. We've been getting calls. People just wanted to vent a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. We can vent. We have groups that we do every other Wednesday. We'll send you a list of events that we have, and you can talk with a bunch of other veterans there too, and we all talk it out. I just want to remind you too, we lost 13 defenders there, but there was a lot of people injured. Yeah. A lot of U.S. military were injured too. And I'm not sure of the number. I think it was like 50 plus. So, I have a lot of friends that came back with injuries, both psychological and physical, and I don't want to minimize their sacrifice as well, because they're going to be living with a lot of stuff for a long time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for reminding us that. What's the contact phone number again for your services?
All right, well, Joey, go ahead.
Okay, so again, the contact number for Mental Health America's Veterans Programs is going to be 845-473-2500 and the extension 1307.
Joe, why don't you also just remind folks, why did you show up tonight?
I showed up to get the word out. Obviously, this is a tough time for a lot of veterans, so to be able to get the contact information they'll need for any programs, and again, if you call our program, we can always connect you to any other programs you might need. So to get the information out there is the best thing to do right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, and thanks to all of you for your service. Tyler, your thoughts?
It's just a somber time for the folks in our country, and especially our servicemen and women. And we just want to remind everyone that they're not alone in feeling this way, and they should definitely reach out to us if they feel so inclined. And we'll be there for them, no matter what our political leaders decide to do with what goes on over there. Just know that we will be there for you, no matter what.
Thank you, Tyler. And Alyssa?
That's our biggest thing. Reach out. We're here. Whatever you need to talk about, whatever it is, we're here to listen. We're here to bounce ideas off of, and you can get a hold of us pretty much any time. So please feel free to reach out.
Thank you for that. Julie, you have served in the Division of Veteran Services for how long?
16 years.
And why do you do that?
I don't know.
Julie, why don't you give some closing thoughts more than that?
No, honestly, when I first got the job, it was a job. But being there for all this time, you want to help veterans. We get a lot of phone calls, and we get a lot of veterans coming, and it's amazing to see that a lot of veterans do not know what they're eligible for. I find it amazing because I'm like, well, how come you don't know? So that's why I'm there. Here to help the veterans of Dutchess County, and of course, we make referrals to other counties, and just to let them know what their eligibility, what their service, make them eligible for.
Thank you, Julie. And one other job you do is make Adam Roach look really good.
Well, yes, of course.
And so I'm going to...
That's a given.
That's a given. I want to acknowledge Adam's service as Director of Veteran Services. Like everyone else at this table, you sacrificed a lot in service to this country, but I can tell you in all the years that I've served as county executive, very few people we have ever hired have come to the table with so much community support, and I think we have a great team in county government. But Adam, you obviously are well respected in the veterans community. You are well liked in our community. I'm warming up to you, but you do a phenomenal job, and I want to thank you for asking us to come together tonight. So why don't you offer some thoughts as well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark. One thing, or a couple things I want to say. First, for the veterans out there that think that all they did was a waste, and why they do it. Just so you know, what you did. We kept the wolf at the at the end of the field, not coming in for the last 20 years. So don't ever think your service is a waste at all for anybody out there. And another thing, for the panel up here, the one thing that you're never going to hear from us is that's not our job. You give us a call. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. If we don't know it right now, we're going to take your information down, and we will figure it out. Just like the lady calling about the wheelchair. We have that. We have services here in Dutchess that no other county has. And, that's something that our county exec, made sure that happens. And I can tell you firsthand, you guys hear them during the teleconference, Facebook Live. I get the opportunity to see it behind doors. and he truly cares about our veteran community. It's not what do you need, and let's make it happen. And those are his words. So thank you so much, Mark, for hosting this today, and we look forward to doing this more often. Because I thought this was great. Really.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do want to thank all of you for just sharing. This is a unique town hall for two reasons. One, it's very specific to a topic, and two, I've spent much less time talking, which is important. I really do think that. I think now more than ever, our veterans community needs to know that we're there for them. That we're going to spend time listening and try to connect them with services. Thank you, Adam, for saying that. I think our view is we'll figure it out. We will figure it out somehow, but we will figure it out. So if you're still with us this evening, please do reach out if you've got a question for services or support. I'd like to say on behalf of the nearly 300,000 people who call Dutchess County home, we are grateful to the men and women who served and who continue to serve around the globe. Decisions will get made, but you will never fail us, and it is our job never to fail you. And we do believe that. No matter what's occurred these last several days, this last week and a half, to Adam's point, you have kept us safe. And as we approach on the 20th anniversary of that darkest day, September 11th, for those who remember it as I do, for those who responded, as some of you have, and for those that day inspired you into service, America changed a lot that day. I just hope that we haven't changed so much that we forget what the mission has been about, and that has been to provide safety and security here at home, and yes, to chase down and punish those individuals who would take up violence and evil against this country. Or would stomp on and abuse the individual liberties and rights of both Americans and neighbors in the global community. Men and women since the founding of our nation have sacrificed to be that beacon of hope the world over. And for that, you are all to be thanked. And I just hope that we continue to strive to do better for you and better by you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is County Executive Mark Molinaro. We are going to close tonight's town hall meeting and encourage you again, if you have questions, to reach out to the Division of Veteran Services at 845-486-2060 or visit dutchessny.gov. God bless you. Thank you for your service, and may God bless this country.